Hey everybody, so in today's video we're going to be doing the slope of parallel lines. So remember, parallel lines are lines like this. They do not cross. They are like if you're driving down the road, those are two parallel lines. The line that the side that you're on and the side that the oncoming traffic is on. Those are parallel. They're not going to cross. And they have the slopes of parallel lines are the same. Okay, slopes of parallel lines are the same. Slopes of parallel lines are the same. Okay, so remember, they're equal. So let's look at a couple examples, and then you're going to do one on your own. So we have y equals 3x, and then y equals 3x minus 9. So what are the slopes of them? So the slopes are 3, and the slopes are 3. So they are correct. Parallel. Yes, parallel. Remember, the slope is always the number that's beside the x, because that's going to determine what's going to be changing. So let's look at the second one. So we have y equals 1/2 x plus 4. So the slope is 1/2. And then the y equals negative 1/2 x plus 4. So the slope are negative 1/2. So these are the same number, but they're not the correct sign. So no, they are not parallel. Okay. And then on number 3, we have 2x plus y equals 0. So I want to review how to solve for y, and then you're going to finish it up and then tell yourself, are they parallel or not? So let's review how to solve for y, because we can't tell if they're parallel because we don't know the slope yet. This is what's called standard form. So to get the y by itself, we got to move the x. So I am going to move the x. So to undo a positive 2x, we're going to subtract 2x on both sides. And then bring down the y, so equals negative 2x plus 0. And if there was a number here beside the y, we would then divide it out by the whole thing and then simplify. But we don't, so we don't have anything else. So I want you to do 4x plus 2y equals 6. Solve for y, and then see, are they actually going to have the same slope or not? And then that will tell you if they're parallel. Okay? So now let's look at slopes of perpendicular lines. So slopes of perpendicular lines are the product of the slopes of perpendicular lines is -1, or the slopes of perpendicular lines are opposite reciprocal. So slopes of perpendicular lines are opposite reciprocal. What that means, they have the opposite sign, so positive and negative, and the slopes are actually reciprocal, which means they're flipped upside down. That's why when you multiply them, they will give you a product of -1, because they kind of cancel each other out, and then you're left with 1 and their opposite sign, so -1. So let's look at some examples here. So on number 4, we have 3x plus 2, so the slope is 3, and then we have y equals negative 1/3 x plus 2. So the slope is negative 1/3. All right, so we need to think about, are they opposite signs? Yes, they are. One's positive, one's negative. And then are they reciprocal? Well, the flip or reciprocal of 3 is 1/3. You just flip it upside down. So yes, they are perpendicular. Okay, now let's look at the other one. Y equals 2/3 x, so the slope is 2/3. And then we have y equals 3/2 x minus 1, so the slope is 3/2. So now let's look and see if they're perpendicular. Well, they are reciprocal, 2/3 versus 3/2. That is the reciprocal or the flip of it, but they're both positive. So just because they're reciprocal does not mean they're perpendicular. They have to be the opposite sign. So the slopes, they are not perpendicular, because not opposite reciprocal. Okay, so make sure it has to meet both of those requirements. All right, so let's look at number 6. I'm going to do part of it, and then you're going to finish it and then determine if they're perpendicular or not. So I'm going to review the negative, I'm going to do the x plus the 3y equals 5. And so remember, if they're not in slope-intercept form, you have to put them there, or you won't be able to tell what the slopes are. So I need to get y by itself. So again, I'm going to move the x first. And how to get rid of a positive x, we're going to subtract on both sides. Do not combine with the 5, because they're not the same thing. They're not like terms. 5 is a constant, x is a variable. Bring down the 3y. So I'm going to put negative x plus 5. Put the x value first, because that's going to be your slope. Now you need to get rid of the 3 in front of the y. So the 3 is times y. So to get rid of that, I got to split it apart, which means I got to divide it. And what you do to one side, you got to do the other. And when you divide it, you do have to divide the entire equation. So I got to divide the negative x, and then I got to divide the 5. Okay. So y equals, there is an invisible 1 beside the x, so it's negative 1/3 x, and then plus 5/3. I really don't care about the 5/3. I really just want the slope. So my slope here is negative 1/3. So your job is to do then the negative 3x plus y equals 8. Solve for y and see if they're opposite reciprocal. And if they are, they're perpendicular. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.